this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and Kept It Off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today we're going to continue reflections of a weight loss warrior and talk about my 50% of my salary goes to child support and how that affects my eating. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also, please check out my website, my podcast, The Awakened Man, the website Naturopathic Earth, my books, and if you appreciate my content, you definitely understand why the donation would be greatly appreciated. All right, so this is probably going to be the most, personal episode in terms of relationships. So I pay 50% to child support. Why is this? I have two different mothers of children. I've mentioned kind of tangentially in the early episodes of the Reflections series about being married and having an ex-wife later and the divorce and all that. And I had 3 kids that came from that marriage. And then after that relationship, I met another woman and was engaged to her, and that relationship didn't work out. And I had a child from that relationship. This is one of the reasons why I've decided, mostly for religious reasons though, to take a vow of chastity unless I'm married. But because I have 2 separate baby mamas, so to speak, I owe 50% to child support. That's just the schedule in the state of Texas. And that, they look at how many kids you have, how many mothers, and so forth. So on some days it's very disheartening that 50% of my income goes to child support. And some days it's very sad. And just imagine, if you make 60,000, you're really making 30,000. If you're making 100,000, you're really making 50,000. If you're making 150,000, you're really making 75,000. And you're still taxed on the higher number because they tax on the gross. So you still have to pay taxes on the gross. Whereas the women who receive the money don't have to pay taxes on that. And there's other inherent kind of injustices that are involved with the court system, so to speak. How does it affect my eating? Well, I've essentially purged emotional eating and stress eating. But there are times when I really sit down and think, God, I'm going to have this crushing burden for at least another 10, 12 years. That I probably do, sure, emotionally eat. Now, I'm not binge eating like I was in the old days or anything like that, but I'll emotionally eat. Then I kind of look at it and I step back. I'm like, well, like all the things we've talked about, doesn't help me to emotionally eat. It only makes me feel worse later on, and I need to tackle my emotions, bring them to the forefront, journal, introspect, and look at the positives, because we don't want to have the loser mentality. I talk about that in one of the episodes. I have 4 children, and if I take a big step back to when I was 280 pounds and size 54 waist at age 15, the large majority of those people that fit that description probably didn't have any children at all. And I was blessed to have 4 children. And I don't get to see them all the time. I see them on alternating weekends and some extra time in the summer. So it is disheartening because I only have them 15% of the year. And they're growing up so fast. But it's better than not having kids. And as a Catholic, as a traditional Catholic, I've never been one to kind of support abortion. And you look what's happening to Europe and America to a certain extent without immigration. And we're in negative population growth, which is not good for the economy, not good for the culture. So we need children. And I am grateful and I thank God every day for my children. So even though I did not make the decision to not be with my children, we got to make lemonade out of lemons. And we can't wax wistful or angry at the past. And we have to see the present for what it is. And the present is, though I don't get to see my kids all the time, and yes, I must pay 50% for a decision I did not make. It is what it is, and I still get to see my children. I still have to, like to think that I have some sort of influence on my children. And anytime I get sad or negative or thoughtful, I try to practice some CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy kind of techniques, and again, always focus on the glass half full, not glass half empty, because what good comes from focusing on the glass half empty? It just leads to a rabbit hole of sadness or depression or disordered eating again. And in the long run, that doesn't benefit me. So I look at the positive. I have children, and if I look back at the episode I did on confessions, probably episode 15 on the opposite sex, and I never thought that I would even kiss a girl, much less have sex. much less have 4 children. So I am very, very blessed, and I count my blessings every day. Guys, post in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and like button because it helps the channel grow. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.